21. The end of disease. Why mapping the genome didn't cure us. The prediction, what we thought. As the 20th century closed, one of the most hopeful scientific promises was sweeping and simple. Most diseases would soon be cured. Once the human genome was mapped, medicine would finally understand the root causes of illness. Genetic defects would be identified and corrected. Treatments would be precise, targeted, and permanent. Cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and inherited disorders would steadily retreat. Disease, long treated as fate or bad luck, would become a solvable problem. Stemming in 1999, this prediction carried extraordinary emotional weight. It wasn't just about longer life, it was about freedom from suffering. Science, at last, would finish the job it had started. Why this prediction made sense in 1999? To understand why the end of disease felt plausible, you have to remember the aura surrounding genetics at the turn of the millennium. In the late 1990s, the Human Genome Project was nearing completion. DNA was widely described as the code of life. Genetic explanations were rapidly advancing. Breakthroughs felt imminent and cumulative. The metaphor mattered. If DNA was code, then disease looked like a bug. And bugs, once identified, can be fixed. This belief fit perfectly with the millennium-era optimism that progress would be linear and decisive. Previous centuries had conquered smallpox, polio, and many infectious diseases. Antibiotics had transformed medicine. Vaccines had saved millions. Genetics felt like the final layer, the master key. For younger readers today, it's important to stress how historic this moment felt. Mapping the genome was compared to landing on the moon. It was presented not as a research milestone, but as a turning point for humanity. The expectation wasn't that disease would vanish overnight, but that the trajectory had clearly changed. Who said it, and where? This optimism was driven less by a single individual than by the rhetoric surrounding the Human Genome Project itself, particularly in the period from 1998 to 2000. Political leaders, scientists, and media outlets spoke of a medical revolution. Press releases and speeches suggested that understanding the genome would unlock cures for most major diseases within decades. The language was careful, but the implication was unmistakable. While few scientists explicitly promised an end to disease, the public message was clear. Once we read the Book of Life, we would finally know how to fix it. In the hopeful atmosphere of the time, that message landed with enormous force. What actually happened 2000 to 2025? Medicine advanced, but disease did not retreat the way many expected. The genome was mapped. Genetic research exploded. Diagnostic tools improved dramatically. Targeted therapies emerged. Personalized medicine became a real field. And yet most diseases did not end. Cancer remained complex and heterogeneous. Heart disease persisted. Neurodegenerative conditions resisted treatment. Autoimmune disorders multiplied. New diseases emerged. Old wounds adapted. Rather than revealing simple genetic switches, the genome exposed layers of complexity. Many diseases were found to involve hundreds of genes interacting with environment, lifestyle, and chance. The idea of single-cause cures proved rare. By the 2020s, medicine had clearly improved outcomes, but not eliminated illness. Life expectancy increased unevenly. Chronic disease became more common as people lived longer. Health systems shifted from curing to managing. The prediction that disease would largely disappear did not materialize. Verdict: status: false. Most diseases were not cured. Despite enormous advances in genetics and medicine, illness remains a central feature of human life. The genome deepened understanding, but it did not deliver broad eradication of disease. The prediction overstated both speed and simplicity. Why it played out this way? The central error was assuming that understanding equals control. Mapping the genome revealed how complex biology truly is. Genes interact with one another, with environments, with development, and with randomness. Disease is not a single bug, it is an emergent property of living systems. There was also a mismatch between scientific progress and public expectation. Research moves incrementally. Breakthroughs are narrow. Translation into widespread cures takes decades. Finally, success created new challenges. As people lived longer, age-related diseases increased. Medicine didn't eliminate illness, it changed its shape. The future didn't fail medicine. It exposed the limits of reductionism. What this prediction teaches us about the future. This case offers a crucial lesson. Biological systems do not yield to linear forecasting. Unlike computing, biology does not scale cleanly. Each layer of understanding reveals deeper complexity. Progress happens, but it is slower, messier, and more uneven than millennium-era optimism assumed. In 1999, genetics symbolized mastery over life. In 2026, it symbolizes humility, an expanding map of how much we still don't know. The future delivered insight. It did not deliver an ending. One sentence takeaway. We learned to read the code of life, but discovered that curing disease is far more complex than fixing a bug.